Are you worried that your communication skills are poor? Do you get stressed or anxious when it's time to speak in meetings or with clients? Do you feel that your vocabulary is very limited? Or do you feel perhaps that you cannot articulate and organize your ideas and thoughts correctly? Your fear and lack of confidence when speaking is causing you frustration. If that's your case, you need to improve your communication skills. Having great communication skills is paramount if you want to be professional, proficient, and productive. When you think about your communication skills, these are the boxes that you need to tick. Charismatic, insightful, engaging, dynamic, influential, credible, fluent, articulate, and empathetic. In order to help you achieve your goal and tick all the right boxes, we are going to use an exceptionally important business topic that you need to feel confident and knowledgeable about when you speak in the workplace. I am referring, of course, to work-life balance. If you are ready, let's go through the organization of this presentation. We are going to learn to speak about 5 key ideas. First, we are going to go through the definition and why it's so important to have a good work-life balance, a proper work-life balance. After that, we need to understand the signs of an unbalanced work life. In third place, we are going to go through 12 top tips that are going to help us understand what a proper work-life balance should be like. In fourth place, we are going to discuss 7 ways in which your manager or supervisor should be helping you around this topic of work-life balance. And finally, we are going to consider how working remotely can impact your work-life balance. Let's get started. Imagine that you are in an interview and you are asked the following question. How do you balance your personal life and your work effectively? You have 2 options to answer to this question. First, you could memorize an already made answer for this question, or you could actually learn about work-life balance. If you go for option number 1 and you decide to memorize the answer, you are not going to come across very genuine or very honest. Besides, you're not preparing yourself for real life. You are not improving your knowledge or your communication skills. On the other hand, if you decide to learn about the concept, its definition, characteristics, and the consequences of an unhealthy work-life balance, you will be in a much better position to provide a genuine answer, which in turn will make you come across a lot more confident, honest, and original. During the next few minutes, you are going to learn not only the definition of work-life balance with the relevant vocabulary, expressions, and sentence structure, but you are also going to learn how to structure your thought process and how to articulate your ideas clearly. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, work-life balance is the amount of time that you spend at work compared with the amount of time that you spend with your family or doing things that you enjoy. A healthy work-life balance is about a harmonious relationship between work and life, without any tilting of the balance towards one direction or the other. It involves consciously managing your time and your energy so that you can meet your personal and your professional commitments while still prioritizing your self-care and well-being. In a nutshell, we can say that a healthy work-life balance happens when after work you are able to fully disconnect and you can engage and focus entirely on doing things with your family, with your friends, or by yourself. You shouldn't be bringing any work home with you. If you're after a healthy work-life balance, these are the top 4 characteristics that you need to work on. Setting boundaries, time management and stress management, and of course, flexibility. Let's have a look into each one of those individually. Setting boundaries, as obvious as it may sound, is about establishing and defining clear limits between work and your personal life. You need to define and plan specific working hours, clearly marking the borders between work-related tasks and personal activities. Once you have clearly defined your working time and your personal time, you need to think about time management. Time management is a fundamental skill that you need to seek to improve all the time if you want to be more successful and more productive at work. Time management is about efficiently organizing and prioritizing your tasks. And remember, when doing so, you should allow for some extra time in between tasks, just in case things don't go according to plan and you get delayed. The formula is quite simple. The better you manage your time, the better your quality of life will be. What about stress management? There are lots of books written on stress management. Whether we want it or not, stress is going to get on the way, is going to challenge us in our daily lives. Therefore, stress management is a mandatory skill that you also need to develop if you want to be more productive and more successful at work. And of course, happier in your personal life too. These are some top tips that can help you manage your stress. Find some time to relax in the morning before you go to work. You could do some sport. For example, you could go for a run. You could go to the gym. Or maybe you can meditate. Perhaps you like reading. You could read for 1 hour or half an hour before you go to work. But never start your day at work angry or in a bad mood. Tip number 2. Plan your day ahead. That way you will be in control and you will minimize the opportunities for stress. Number 3. Create a comfortable working environment. Nobody wants to work in a mess. You need to know where things are and you need to feel comfortable. This will help you manage your stress. Number 4. Eat well. Hydrate yourself. And go for a little walk every now and then. Don't sit at your desk for long periods of time. You need to stand up at least every 45 minutes and activate your blood circulation. And number 5, avoid drinking a lot of caffeine, a lot of coffee. Characteristic number 4 of a healthy work-life balance is flexibility. Flexibility is about having the ability to adapt and adjust your schedule to accommodate unforeseen circumstances or personal needs so you don't have to compromise your work commitments. When you plan your day, your week, your month, you should consider allocating some buffer time. This buffer time will allow you to account for unforeseen delays, emergencies, interruptions, distractions. It's going to help you reduce stress, avoid missing deadlines, and handle unexpected situations more efficiently. Thus far, we have talked about the definition of a healthy work-life balance, and we have also mentioned the characteristics. Next, we are going to quickly run through the importance of having a good work-life balance, and we are also going to discuss the signs of an unhealthy work-life balance. And right after that, we are going to delve into the top 12 tips for a healthy work-life balance. We will also be discussing the role of your manager. And finally, we will look into the implications that working from home have in your work-life balance. Why a healthy work-life balance is so important. And what are the consequences of an unhealthy work-life balance? An unhealthy work-life balance has devastating consequences for both the employer and the employees. Do you happen to know how much it costs a company to replace an employee? An average of £30,000. You heard me well. An average of £30,000. And another question. Did you know how long it takes for an employee or a new recruit to get up to speed? 28 weeks. Yes, 28 weeks. That is a little over half a year. Well, I'm sure that you will agree with me that this is a lot of money and a lot of time. And what are the consequences for employees? Mainly, we have 4. Constant overworking. This means that you are working longer hours. Instead of just 8, you usually do more. You don't rest during weekends, or you don't go on holidays when you should. You bring work home and you don't have time for your personal life or your hobbies. This is going to impact directly your personal life, which is going to be neglected. You don't have time for your family, for your friends. You don't have time for relaxation. And the consequence is going to be burnout. You are going to reach a point where your mental and your physical health are going to be affected, all due to exhaustion. And last but not least is the lack of self-care. What we mean with this is that you do not have time for self-care activities such as exercise or getting adequate sleep or finding time for relaxation and for personal activities. This is going to affect your mental and your physical health. As you can see, we can confidently say that it is on the employees and the employer's best interest to prioritize a proper work-life balance. What are the signs of an unhealthy work-life balance that you and your company should be looking out for? It has been proven that working over 55 hours on a regular basis leads to a higher risk of having a stroke, suffering from anxiety, depression, and even a decline in your physical health. Believe it or not, more often than not, despite working over 55 hours on a regular basis, lots of people fail to recognize, realize, or even to admit that they are leading an unhealthy or an unbalanced work-life dynamic. It is also worth noting that a poor work-life balance and its consequences affects differently to different people, in different ways and with a different degree in the symptoms. These are the 8 most typical signs that you should be paying attention to and take the right measurements before it gets too late. You can't stop thinking about work when you are not at work. You get easily irritated with your co-workers, or you get more distant from your loved ones. You feel off. You suffer from undisciplined aches and pains, and you have difficulty focusing or concentrating at work. You often turn down invitations from your friends. You further isolating from your friends. Your dishes, your mail, your laundry is piling up. You don't take time off when you're sick. You can't remember your last vacation. You haven't even booked your next holiday or vacation. You can't imagine doing what you do for the rest of your life, and whatever you do, it always feels like you should be doing something different. Now that we have understood better the signs that we need to avoid at any cost, it is time next to explore what we can do to improve our work-life balance. There are essentially 12 top tips that I would like to share with you. Plan ahead. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Consider the Pomodoro technique and discover how a break can improve your productivity and your well-being. Set blocks of time for different tasks and work at a specific time. Unplug, disconnect, go out for lunch or have lunch with your coworkers. Take time off. Super important. Practice mindfulness. Find something to engage outside work. Go running. Reconsider work that makes you yearn for balance. Work with a coach or a therapist. And the last one, number 12, communicate with your manager. Your manager, your boss, your leader, your supervisor, whatever you want to call him or call her, plays a major role in your work-life balance. Knowing and taking the steps towards a healthy work-life balance is difficult in itself, practically impossible without the support of an empathetic manager or an empathetic boss. These are the 7 ways in which a manager can help you on your way to achieving a healthy work-life balance. Number 1, your manager should remind you to unplug. It means that if you go on a vacation, it's nice to hear from your manager that you should leave your laptop at home. It is a given, but it's nice to hear that from them. Number 2, they need to give employees a space to connect. What I mean by this is that they need to organize social gatherings and social opportunities for people to interact. For example, birthday parties, or spend an evening in the pub, or maybe go on a weekend trip. Number 3, they need to educate the employees on their benefits. For example, they need to make you aware of your entitlement in regard to days off or paid time off or sick days. Number 4, they need to check in with direct reports. What I mean by this is that they or the company should be conducting surveys in order to check the happiness of the team. Anonymous surveys where work-life balance is a big part of the questionnaire. And then they had to use that information, that data, to make sure that they put measurements in place in order to make people happier. Number 5, managers have to be a role model themselves. They need to lead by example. They need to set the example. So they need to know the rules and they need to apply them. Number 6 is about company norms and the company culture. For example, there should be moments during the day when it's not necessary to answer a text message or an email. And in number 7, managers need to respect working hours. This one is very clear. Once you finish work, you finish. You don't take any work with you home. They shouldn't be calling you when you're not working or texting you or emailing you. And you're not supposed to answer. And finally, we should be asking ourselves, how does remote working affect work-life balance? Do you think that working from home has more advantages than disadvantages, or vice versa? Which one do you actually prefer? Do you like commuting to work every day or perhaps a few times per week? Or maybe you prefer to work from home all the time, from the comfort of your home every time, every day? We are going to have a look at the top 4 advantages and the top 4 disadvantages and how this affects work-life balance. What are the top 4 advantages? In number 1, we have flexibility and work-life balance. Number 2 is productivity. Number 3 is cost savings. And number 4, access to a global pool of talent. What about the disadvantages? Number 1, communication challenges. Number 2, isolation and lack of team spirit. Number 3, security concerns. And in number 4, potential for reduced accountability. Let's look into each one of those in a bit more detail. Flexibility and work life balance. Embracing a remote work model allows employees to exercise greater autonomy in managing their work schedules. This flexibility is a pivotal factor in fostering a harmonious work life balance, acknowledging the individual needs and preferences of team members. As professionals gain control over their daily routines, they can optimize their productivity during peak hours, contributing to heightened job satisfaction and overall well being. The ability to strike a balance between professional commitments and personal responsibilities is a key driver in retaining top talent and promoting a positive organizational culture. Productivity. The virtual work environment eliminates the typical distractions associated with traditional office settings, enabling employees to channel their focus directly into their tasks. This heightened concentration, coupled with absence of daily commutes, results in a significant boost in productivity levels. Team members can dedicate undivided attention to projects and assignments, leading to more efficient outcomes. Employers benefit from the streamlined workflows and enhanced project timelines, ultimately contributing to the achievement of organizational goals and objectives. Cost savings. Transitioning to a remote work model yields substantial cost savings for businesses, particularly in terms of overhead expenses related to office spaces and utilities. By embracing a virtual workspace, companies can allocate resources more strategically, redirecting funds towards areas that drive innovation and business growth. This financial efficiency is instrumental in maintaining a competitive edge, allowing organizations to invest in technology, employee development, and other critical initiatives that contribute to long term success. Access to a pool of talent. The virtual nature of remote work transcends geographical boundaries, providing businesses with unparalleled access to a diverse and global talent pool. Companies can source and recruit individuals based on skills, expertise, and cultural fit, rather than being constrained by geographic proximity. This inclusivity not only enhances the overall skill set within the organization, but also fosters creativity and innovation through the integration of varied perspectives. This expanded talent acquisition approach positions businesses to thrive in dynamic and competitive markets. Communication challenges. The absence of face to face interaction in a remote work setting introduces communication challenges that require diligent management. Virtual communication tools become paramount in overcoming the barriers of physical distance. However, misinterpretations, delayed responses, and potential misunderstandings may still arise, necessitating a concerted effort to establish clear communication protocols. Regular virtual meetings, concise documentation, and active engagement through digital platforms are essential to mitigate these challenges and maintain effective collaboration among team members. Isolation and lack of team spirit. This isolation can impact the team cohesion and the development of a strong organizational culture. Team building activities, virtual social events, and fostering open communication channels become imperative in mitigating this challenge. Proactively nurturing a sense of belonging and camaraderie among team members contributes to a positive work environment and ensures that the shared values of the organization are upheld even in a virtual space. Security concerns. The shift to remote work introduces heightened cybersecurity risks that demand rigorous protective measures. Securing sensitive data, intellectual property, and confidential information become critical priorities. Organizations must invest in robust cybersecurity protocols, conduct regular training sessions to educate employees on best practices, and implement secure technologies. This proactive approach is essential for safeguarding the integrity of business operations and maintaining the trust of clients, partners, and stakeholders. Potential for reduced accountability. The absence of direct supervision in a virtual work environment raises concerns regarding accountability for individual and team deliverables. To address this challenge, organizations must implement transparent performance metrics, set clear expectations, and establish regular check ins. Utilizing project management tools, conducting virtual performance reviews, and fostering a culture of accountability are integral components of mitigating the potential for reduced accountability. By maintaining a focus on results and outcomes, businesses can ensure that remote work does not compromise the overall efficiency and effectiveness of their teams.